If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. My man Aubrey came through with an incredible show last Saturday at the Apollo Theater. You probably heard about it, Drake and his Apollo show, something that I've talked about quite a bit on this channel before. It got postponed 2 times. And at the show, he said something about a new album that we're going to take a look at today and kind of recap how the whole show went down. So let's jump straight into this. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 20 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip hop over the past week. So make sure to do that. Also, go ahead and follow me on TikTok. I'm posting on there daily. You don't want to miss out on that. Now let's get into the video. So the OG Drake at the Apollo Theater show was set to happen on November 11th. So a week after Not Honestly, never mind. Her Loss with 21 Savage. That's the album. After that dropped. Now Drake postponed the show because of Takeoff's death. Rest in peace, and rightfully so. He then moved it to December. I think it was supposed to be December 6th and 7th. They added a second date because it was first come first serve for only a very limited amount of people that could get on there. The Apollo was very tight when it comes to the space in there. Only like 1,500, something like that. Like very few people fit in there. And they, added a second date so they could probably also make more money. But making money, with this thing wasn't the actual thing, because why would you do it in such a closed venue? The real reason was probably to announce something, which he now kind of did. We're also waiting for the second show now to happen next weekend. Also, this is his first show in like 4 or 5 years, ever since that Migos tour in like 2018. I think it was 2018 with the Migos, the Aubrey and the Amigos. That was a tour, I think. Well, now we got it, and a couple of cool things happened. Aside from bringing out like Lil Uzi, who performed Just Wanna Rock, which was incredible. Besides bringing out 21 Savage to perform the Her Loss tracks, he also talked a little bit about what he wanted this show to be about. For example, at one point during the show, he said, "I wanted to make the show about gratitude. This is a little story we put up together. My deep love for my family, for my dear friends, and each and every one of you that have been supporting me for a long time." Now, he said all of this while recreating his childhood bedroom, like in the basement of his mom's house, where he started writing raps. And I think that's actually pretty cool. You can see him sitting on that bed recreating that, kind of reciting the lyrics of those old songs like Best I Ever Had, stuff like that he wrote back when he was living in his mom's basement. So I think that was actually a pretty cool thing. A bunch of celebrity, people were there watching the show. But then at some point later on down the line, after already bringing out a couple of people, for example, he brought out Dipset as well. So people were really like getting turned in there. It wasn't Brooklyn, so like people like A$AP Ferg were there as well. But at some point later down the line, he talked about a new album, which was actually pretty interesting. So let's take a look at what he said. So at one point in the show, he paused and said, "I thought about a bunch of things in life, but at this moment in time, none of those things are stopping making music for you. I hope I can strike up some more emotions for you, maybe this year. I might get bored and make another one." So we got to take a look at what this means. Now, if he says he might get bored and make another one, was there one already? Was there an album already that was supposed to come this year? Or was he talking about Her Loss? Likely talking about Her Loss. I don't want to go too far off on a reach here. But if it was talking about Her Loss, then we might get another Drake album this year. Now we're still waiting for Scary Hours 3, an album, an EP that I've talked about quite a bit on this channel as well. So make sure to go check out my latest video on that after this one to get all the infos on that, because honestly, we haven't gotten any, new info after the last video that I dropped on this. So that's the latest news that we had on Scary Hours 3. That usually drops half a year before a new album drops. So usually it's half a year in between the Scary Hours drop. We had it with the first Scary Hours. Half a year later, Scorpion drop. We had it with the second Scary Hours. Half a year later, CLB drop. So it's kind of like always that same rhythm, and we're kind of expecting Scary Hours 3 to drop at some point this year. Not to mention that he did confirm it the night after, or the night of the drop of Honestly Nevermind, where he went on the SiriusXM Table for One podcast and talked about, striking up another Scary Hours 3, chopping up some, head tops with that one, whatever he said back then. On that should have been June 17th, something around that time, back when Honestly Nevermind dropped. So we can expect a Scary Hours 3. He did say at that point that it wasn't too far in the future. We always thought it was still going to be last year, 2022. Now, it's not been like half a year now, a little bit more than half a year, so it could still be in that same time frame. But, I don't think we'll get any Scary Hours until maybe like March, April. That is kind of what I'm guessing. We got Scary Hours 2 in March, I think, as well. So that would actually be a pretty good time for him to drop. And then he would have the ability to drop a full-length album later on down the year to kind of complement that Scary Hours EP. That is kind of what I'm thinking when this thing is going to drop. So my prediction is Scary Hours 3 first quarter of this year, and then the new album third or fourth quarter. I just said quarter. It's quarter. Kind of pronounced it weird. Now, obviously, he could also be talking about a Her Loss Part 2, even though I don't want to start theories on that one just yet because it's just, quite a reach now to talk about it. But he did say that, they might get bored and drop another one, so maybe talking about another one with 21 Savage. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this was before or after 21 hit the stage with him, so maybe that was kind of a correlation there. If you were there, if you saw the clips, make sure to let me know in the comments down below and what you think about that possibility. Now, maybe after next weekend, after the next show, we can expect some more info on this, and we can expect Drake to come through with some more announcements for us, kind of like now teasing at it and then announcing it. Now, all of this is obviously not a lot of information, but this is honestly the only thing that we could go off of when it comes to Drake, because this was the show that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. And even back in October, November, when he first announced that the show was happening, the Apollo Theater show was happening, I was making, videos about Scary Hours 3 getting announced. So we've been wanting this show to be the one where he announces a new album at. So that's why we're putting such a lot of weight and such a lot of importance on these shows when it comes to him announcing something. And him talking about new music and new music still dropping this year is definitely a positive sign. Definitely shows that he's not done yet and that he's still got stuff to drop. Now, obviously, all of these are just theories. We don't have any official confirmation, but let me know what you think about these in the comments down below, and we can get into a discussion about Drake and if new music is dropping, what is dropping, and when. Also, obviously, about a new album. I mean, we talked about Scary Hours 3, we talked about Her Loss 2, but obviously it could be a whole nother album that we don't even know about. So there's also a possibility, also the likeliest one, still going to get in full album this year after Scary Hours 3. That's kind of what I'm thinking. They're not going to drop Her Loss 2 for a while now. I think it's still going to be a couple of more years. We got to get What a Time to Be Alive 2, before we get Her Loss 2. That's been 8 years ago, bro. They got to drop What a Time to Be Alive 2. Now, if you're getting cold in these, winter times, it's pretty harsh outside, a lot of, freezing weather, you can check out the Benz Music official hoodie merch with the merch bar right below this video. Code TrueFan for 20% off. What a bargain. Make sure to cop that and support your boy. Now, that's all for this video. Drake performed at the Apollo. Pretty cool show. I mean, you can watch clips online. You can kind of check out the highlights of what happened, who attended, what he had on stage and stuff like that. And he talked about new music, so that's a pretty good sign. But let me know what you think about this. What do you think about the theories that I kind of put out in this video? If Scary Hours 3, if it's a new album, if it's Her Loss 2, What a Time to Be Alive 2. All of your thoughts and opinions on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.